order on TuneIn, iTunes, Radio Loyalty, and of course Stitcher. Get a hold of us online, JiggyJaguar.com, and of course iHeartRadio, and our app is available, JiggyJaguar.com, or look in both the app stores. And earlier this weekend, in fact last weekend, I was in Kansas City at the Planet Comic-Con. And on my way back, I have sort of a weird radio tuning schedule, I guess, that I do. When I'm leaving Kansas City, I'm already listening to 98.9 The Rock, Kansas City's rock station. And then once that begins to fade out, I switch over to 101.5 K-Rock. And then as I get closer to Hutchinson, Kansas, we listen to T95. Listen to T95. Now, I was listening to T95, and they had a gentleman on there by the name of Meatball. I don't know what a meatball does. I don't even know what a meatball is. And that's making reference to a Rush Limbaugh segment from years ago with the Young Turks. But had this Meatball character on there. And I believe Meatball is the guy that they replaced Hank the Mechanic with when Hank retired from radio. Basically, they forced him off the air. So they had this Meatball character on there. And he was doing his usual, DJ thing, which is fine. Not a problem. But then he said something that really stuck out to me. And I'm like, huh? What? Now, it wasn't anything controversial because, of course, it's T95. It's not going to be controversial. They don't do anything over there. They've often been nicknamed on this broadcast as Family Metal. And we have a long history with T95. But this Meatball character, let's see if I can find a picture of this guy. So I can bring up Meatball so you can find out who Meatball is. And but Meatball, this guy truly is a meatball. He went on T95 on Sunday. Now, keep in mind, it's KICT, T95. Their website, T95.com. On the radio, it's 95.1. Okay, we get that. However, what he did was he was talking about a Spotify playlist. If you can believe this. And he was encouraging people to go to Spotify. And I'm like, why are you encouraging people to go to Spotify? And he was like, well, I've got the Meatball playlist. It's on Spotify. There's a picture of it. We'll pull that up here. There's Meatball. There's the big star. There's the star of stage and screen. Meatball. The name is Meatball. And he supposedly listened to 1095 growing up in Wichita. Okay, I don't know if he did that or not. But Meatball, of course, replaced Hank, who did middays for them. But my point is that Meatball, well, Meatball, he encouraged people to go to Spotify. Now get this, let's get this straight. You encouraged your radio listeners to leave the radio and get on their phones and their mobile devices and go to Spotify. Okay, if I'm getting on Spotify, am I ever going to come back to the radio? When in this time we have all sorts of problems with streaming and podcasts and internet radio and all of these things, why would you encourage your listeners to leave the radio and go to Spotify? Why would you go to the competition? Because guess what? If I pulled up Spotify, I might go, I don't want to go back to the radio. I don't want to go listen to the radio anymore. I might just stay with Spotify. But apparently radio, once again, doesn't understand what's going on. I'm sure his corporate overlords at whatever company owns them this week. Who currently owns them? Some group. I don't know. It's not listed on their website, so who knows? I don't know. I don't know who owns them. Some group owns them. Supposedly Scripps still owns them, but I know that's a lie. Scripps sold a bunch of their radio stations. They decided to get out of the radio business. But this Meatball character encouraged people to go to Spotify. And I'm sitting there going, really? Are you out of your mind? So it's a strange world we live in, folks. It's kind of like when Alex Jones or Rush Limbaugh or Hannity or these guys will encourage people to go to their websites. Now, I understand that, but Rush often will say, well, to get the full ditto cam and streaming audio, go to rushlimbaugh.com. Okay, what he's doing is he's calling that audience that he's got on the radio to go to his website. So in the event that he wakes up tomorrow and is out of a job, or he wakes up tomorrow and the radio company's been sold, or he wakes up tomorrow and decides, I'm just going to take my audience and go somewhere else, he's already got them. I believe it was Bubba the Love Sponge who once said, always make sure you have a domain and always make sure you have a website. Because you never know when you wake up tomorrow if you're going to be fired or what's going on. Tom Likas used to do this with blowmeuptom.com. Alex Jones does this constantly. Go to Infowars.com, Infowars.com, Infowars.com. Because he's wanting to get the listeners to go there, because he's going to get the listeners called in one spot, and then he's going somewhere else, and he's taking his listeners with him. So I just found this kind of strange. Meatball promoting the fact that we'll go to Spotify. Now, I'm sure that this was just an offhanded comment. This had nothing to do. I'm probably reading way too much into this, much like I read way too much into everything. But I just found it odd that he would send people to the competition, which is essentially Spotify, and then encourage them to check out his Meatball playlist. Why not just encourage him to check out the T95 playlist and say, hey, I've got a playlist of really good songs, and they're available on T95, and then have links to them. I don't know. But we are going to take a time out, and when we come back here on our big broadcast, we will have our next guest. They are patiently waiting on the telephone. We'll get to them here in just a few seconds here on the world-famous Jiggy Jaguar Radio Broadcast.